I said my Shahada because of babies. Yeah, you heard that right. So I said my Shahada last night. I hadn't planned to, but I had been going through TikTok helping boost videos because they're deleting way too many. And I came across the news that 28 of the babies from Al Shifa made it to Egypt. And I was just so happy. I thanked Allah. And I said my Shahada. I was so happy that they made it. And right after I said it, my whole body just covered in goosebumps. And I just had this cold chill just running up and down my spine. And this voice just in my head said, "Welcome home." To say I cried like a baby, I cried like a baby. I was agnostic before this, so like there was probably something bigger, but I didn't really know what. I sadly just witnessed a lot of hypocrisy and judging in Christianity, and that just always bothered me. Always bothered me that I couldn't do it, because it's the thing of, I would even have debates with children at school, and I actually learned about Christianity so that I could debate them. But it would be, my thing always was, they were always after me to become religious to whatever branch of Christianity they were part of. And my biggest retort would always be, but if God gave us free will, then isn't it my choice what I want to believe? And they never liked that. They never, ever liked that, because it was just, how can you argue it, right? But this year was kind of a really hard year. I live in Canada. Canada's done some really freaking horrible things to Indigenous people. And it was kind of the last couple of years realizing how much the government hid. Like when I was in grade 7, they mentioned residential schools. They didn't bother to mention that as I was sitting in that classroom, there was actually still a residential school open in Quebec. They didn't bother to mention that to us. So learning the truth about that, now learning the truth about Palestine, and the fact that the Sudan and Congo are still happening, because in grade 7, Amnesty International came to the school and did this presentation and told us the absolute atrocities happening in the Sudan and Congo. And, it was on the news a little bit, and then it just went away. So, my child self thinking that, oh, well, if they're not talking about it, then it must have got fixed. No. The Western world just doesn't feel like telling you anymore. So to say that like this year and the last like month have been unbelievably faith challenging, I was losing hope. I was losing hope in humanity. And honestly, what led me to the Quran was seeing what the Palestinian people have been going through and how long they've been going through it. And the fact that they are still so resilient and they will not give up, and it makes you go, how can they be so resilient? How can they not lose hope in humanity already? Like, the Western world's been ignoring this for 75 years. How have they not already given up hope on us? So I started reading the Quran. And I just felt so much peace. And even in the last couple weeks of reading, my depression has gotten better. Because seeing all those atrocities in the world and not knowing why, like, why is this happening? Why is no one doing anything? What is the point of all of this? And not having faith to help you through that is insanely soul-crushing. And to know that, yeah, I had a crummy mom, and I had to go through that because Allah needed to make sure that I was the mom I needed to be for my stepkids, because they have a mom like that too. And I needed to be ready for them. You may not understand the difficulties you're going through right now, why they're happening, but Allah has a plan.